Hi, welcome to the program, everybody. Let's get right down to it. According to the Reuters news agency, Trump's Department of Justice ordered the charges to be dropped against New York City's Mayor Eric Adams. And after the charges were dropped, mass resignations ensued. So let's take a look at this story. So here's a summary. Danielle Sassoon resigns as the Manhattan U.S. Attorney. John Keller and Kevin Driscoll resigned from the DOJ. 3 other DOJ deputies resigned. Rob Herby, Jen Clark, and Marco Palmieri. Resignations are still coming as Trump overhauls the DOJ. Matthew Podolsky, Sassoon's deputy, will take her place. So, 6 senior Justice Department officials, including Manhattan's top federal prosecutor, resigned on Thursday rather than comply with an order to dismiss corruption charges against New York City's mayor, according to internal Justice Department letters seen by Reuters and people familiar with the matter. The departures mark a sign of resistance from career Justice Department officials to President Donald Trump's efforts to overhaul the agency to end what he calls its weaponization against political opponents. Critics say Trump's changes threaten to subject criminal prosecutions to political whims. Manhattan U.S. Attorney Danielle Sassoon, the Trump administration's recent pick to temporarily lead the office prosecuting New York Mayor Eric Adams, resigned her post on Thursday, according to the memorandum by Deputy Attorney General Emily Bove, or Email Bove, a Trump appointee. Sassoon said in a letter seen by Reuters that she had been prepared to seek a new indictment, accusing Adams of destroying evidence and directing others to do so. Y'all don't believe me? I keep telling you that the deal has already been made. You all are going to see the fallout from the deal. Always remember, what people are not saying is more important as to what is really happening. Many times a person can say something to you, but you have to listen to the subliminal message that they're trying to get across from you. Example, the appalling silence of New York City's mayor is indirectly telling you all that he does not give a damn about y'all. He's telling you all he only cares about himself. His silence says he'd rather make a deal with his enemy than to fulfill his role as the mayor of New York City to the people who put him in power. And as I said in another video, it was Eric Adams, New York's mayor, who welcomed the immigrants, or migrants as they're called, to the city of New York. He gave them everything upon their arrival. Governor Greg Abbott from Texas put them on the bus, sent them up to New York City. New York City being a sanctuary city, but it won't be a sanctuary city anymore because all that's going to change. Mark my word. I keep telling you all, this man is going to defect to the Republican Party. He's going to try to use y'all to get reelected. He wants to get on the ballot. He wants to use you for that. His defiance, his arrogance, his avarice, his pride. And then he wants to use y'all to get reelected. And as soon as he gets reelected, he's going to defect to the Republican Party and become a Republican. He'll become your worst nightmare as a Republican mayor. Do not be foolish enough to put this man back into the mayoral position. Choose somebody different. Choose somebody younger with a vision, or choose a seasoned individual who will look out for the best interests of everybody in New York City. Now get back to what I was saying. He's the one who welcomed the migrants to the city. What did he give them? He gave them free housing. He put them up in beautiful hotels. He gave them food vouchers. He gave them credit cards. He gave them carte blanche. And what did he give to the people in New York? Nothing but grief. Nothing but disdain. Nothing but heartache. People were fighting out in the streets during the summertime over the fact that he didn't do anything for them. So if he didn't do anything for y'all then, you think he's going to do something for you now? The answer is no. He's only looking out for his own self-interest. So beware of people who are always quiet, always complicit, always fraternizing with the enemy, because in reality, they're on the enemy's side. So now let's get back to the article. Bove had ordered Sassoon to dismiss the case on Monday in what legal experts called an effort by Trump administration officials to assert control over a prosecutor's office that has long prided itself on independence from politics. Adams, a Democrat, has forged ties with Trump, a Republican. Adams has argued he was targeted by former President Joe Biden's administration for criticizing his immigration policy. That's a lie, and Adam knows it. People just think because President Biden is no longer in office that they're just going to say any and everything about him. Well, I'll set the record straight. I'll take up for Joe Biden. Joe Biden is almost 85 years old. He ain't got no time for this BS. None whatsoever. None. And the current incumbent is the one who's responsible for everything. What happened to the economy? Wasn't that supposed to be the talk? They're eating the dogs, they're eating the cats, they're eating the rats, they're eating the mice. Wasn't it the talk that the black Haitians are taking white people's jobs? Wasn't that the talk? The migrants are taking the job. What the talk on the campaign trail was about the price of eggs, the price of bacon, the price of sausage, the price of gasoline. On the campaign trail, it was about the economy. It was never about the economy. That was the smokescreen because Elon Musk spent the $250 million that he poured into the Trump campaign, and they were doing all types of things to distract people. And Adams was at the Republican inauguration, and he was also at the Republican convention on the closing night. Now let that one sink in. So Adams, who is a Democrat, he forged ties with Trump, a Republican. Adams has argued he was targeted by former President Joe Biden's administration for criticizing its immigration policy. I know that's a lie, because that's going to be the standard op that he's going to talk about. Bove wrote on Monday that the case was interfering with Adams' ability to help Trump's immigration crackdown. In his Thursday memo, Bove wrote that Sassoon had refused to comply with what he called his office findings that the case against Adams amounted to weaponization of the justice system. Your office has no authority to contest the weaponization finding, wrote Bove, Trump's former personal criminal defense lawyer. The Justice Department will not tolerate the insubordination. Bove wrote that the two main trial prosecutors on the Adams case would be placed on leave. He also said his office would take over the Adams case and move to dismiss it, though no formal motion to dismiss had been filed yet on Thursday. No, they're pissed because the prosecutors resigned. They said, shove it. That's why they're upset. They're mad because he couldn't fire them. They're mad because he couldn't make them bend down and do what they wanted them to do. That's why they're pissed off. In the letter to Attorney General Pam Bodie, dated February 12 and seen by Reuters on Thursday, Sassoon said it would be improper to dismiss the charges in return for Adams' help on immigration, in addition to saying she had planned new charges. In other words, y'all bought him. That's what Sassoon is saying. Adams had previously pleaded not guilty to charges he accepted bribes from Turkish officials. So, closing out, Adams' lawyer Alex Spiro said in the email to Reuters, if SDNY had any proof whatsoever that the mayor destroyed evidence, they would have brought those charges, as they continually threatened to do, but don't or didn't over months and months. This newest false claim is just a parting shot of a misguided prosecution exposed as a sham. Now, suppose Adam doesn't get reelected. Does that change the fact that the charges against him were dropped? If he doesn't get reelected, if he can't convince black people to put him back in office, is that deal going to be off the table? Is the new DOJ going to reinstate the charges against him as a punishment for him not being able to deliver New York City the way they want it? A spokesperson for the Southern District of New York confirmed Sassoon's resignation. Matthew Podolsky, a former financial crimes prosecutor who had been serving as Sassoon's deputy, will now take her place, the spokesperson said. According to a person briefed on the matter, after Sassoon refused to dismiss the case, the Trump administration directed John Keller, the acting head of the Justice Department's Public Corruption Unit, to do so. Keller also resigned on Thursday. Wow. Two people familiar with the matter said Kevin Driscoll, a senior official in the department's criminal division, has also resigned. One of the people said 3 other deputies in the Justice Department's Public Corruption Unit, Rob Herbley, Jen Clark, and Marco Palmieri, also resigned on Thursday over the orders to dismiss the Adams case, a person familiar with the matter said. A Justice Department official confirmed Keller's and Driscoll's resignations and did not immediately respond to requests for comment on the other 3. So since Trump began a second term in the White House on January 20, the new administration fired more than a dozen prosecutors who pursued criminal charges against him in 2 cases brought in 2023 and terminated some FBI officials and prosecutors who pursued cases against Trump supporters who stormed the U.S. Capitol on January 6, 2021 to try to block Congress from certifying his election loss. And they should sue. They should sue, point blank. Yep. Why not? So the new prosecutor on her first day on the job last week issued a directive stating that the Justice Department lawyers who declined to appear in court or sign briefs would be disciplined and possibly fired. Thursday's resignation sparked comparisons from legal experts to the Saturday Night Live massacre in 1973, when senior Justice Department officials resigned after refusing President Richard Nixon's order to fire the special counsel investigating the 1972 break-in by Republican operatives at the Democratic headquarters at the Watergate complex in Washington. Well, don't they have the right to resign? Don't they have the right to quit if they choose to? Don't they have the right not to want to go along with things if they choose not to? I'm going to close this segment up by saying this. Democrats in New York City, Philadelphia, and around America, get your acts together and get ready for 2020-25. Midterm elections are coming up. Stop sitting passively by and stop letting individuals think and tell you what to do and how to do it. Stop letting people run you. Come back with vengeance at the polls. Come back with retaliatory nature at the polls. Come back with anger and rage at the polls. Change the trajectory of Congress in the midterm elections. Don't just get angry and don't do anything about it. You got the power in your hands. Show Adams that he's not going to get reelected and then betray y'all. Don't reelect him. How about that one? Never surrender. Never quit.